Hey you guys, I've got a 30-minute unrated game against Suzuki, who's rated just under 1,000. Okay, it's got d4. I'm going to play d5. We could have the Queen's Gambit here, we could have the London. Okay. London, do I go in with an early c5 and try and disrupt a... Quite often a good idea to get your push your c-pawn up and then you can get your knight behind it. Okay, so now I have the option of capturing in the centre and getting a 2-on-1 central pawn majority. Just going to bring out a knight for now. This pawn is actually hanging, but it doesn't bother me too much. If I can get my other knight out, I've got ideas then of e5, possibly. If pawn takes, let's bring the knight out. Okay, she's proceeding with normal London setup. We've got that, we've got the bishop out. Okay, fairly predictable. Pin the knight. So that's now 3 pieces. One of the issues with the London, of course, is there's 3 pawn moves, which aren't actually necessary to get your bishops out. You only need to move 2 pawns to get your bishops and your queen out into the board. But it does give you this solid dark squared structure if you're white, or light squared structure, I suppose, if you play the equivalent as black. Okay, knight defends knight, but the knight is still pinned. This pawn is still hanging. c4 is not a good move. Yeah, it kind of blocks in the light squared bishop, but I don't think it's meant to be the way to go. Okay, so push is got 2 attackers, actually only 1 defender. So that's no good. How about queen b6? I think that's a thematic move. Actually defends this pawn, but I'm also attacking b2. Suzuki is from Finland. If I put my specs on, does that make me cleverer? Yeah, makes me cleverer. Cool. Right, there we go then. Game on. Okay, so I want to get this bishop out, clearly. And that's a good kind of target for the bishop. I don't think putting it on here and looking down this ugly, dark squared pawn chain, that's not going to help. So I'm just going to push e6. This knight is really now tied. Since the queen's moved there, this knight is the only serious defender of that knight, because I don't think she's going to castle that way. She's going to want to castle this way. So this knight now can't move, or else I grab the knight and the g-pawn then has to take, and that's going to be disastrous for kingside castling intentions. Hopes. Thing about shattered dreams. This is like a kind of a French setup now that is fairly familiar to me. Huh. e4. She's gone for a pawn break. She's gone for a pawn break before castling and completing development. What's the idea? Do you want to push that? I don't know. If it takes, we've got knight takes, pawn takes, queen takes. So that's actually equal. That's 2 attackers, 2 defenders, yeah? I want to get kingy out. I want to get my king castled. And I don't think I want to go that way, because this is all guarded by that evil bishop. So do I just drop? Oh no. Any tactics around? Get your tactics. Your tactics here. Free for £1. Am I concerned about this bishop coming out? No, I am not. Okay, I'm just going to play bishop e7, get my king safe. Okay, so she's done the same thing. That's not only a second attacker to the knight, it's also preparing to castle. So it means that if bishop takes knight now, no point. Doesn't change this situation any. I mean, I mean, one good question to ask is, with every move, what is now undefended or newly defended? Yeah. So the bishop was there defending this pawn. Bishop's now here defending this knight. That's all that's changed. It's just stating the obvious. It's what's on the board. What does the board tell you? Don't see any point in swapping off my bishop at this point. That's just a completely non-move. That doesn't worry me. Let's castle the king. I'm going to be looking for tactics. I'm going to be expecting mistakes from somebody rated under 1,000. Okay, so queen's defending that, rook's defending that. Yes, yes, yes. Undefended. Right, okay. So we have an undefended bishop. No point in that idea at this point in time. If I take there and knight takes, then I can actually grab the pawn because that's one of the defenders that's moved. But if I take there and bishop takes, I can't predict which way it's going to go. Therefore, where are we? We are both now fully developed. Well done. And as a result, we are now in the middle game. So what do we do in the middle game? We construct an idea for attacking our opponent. Right now, my opponent's position seems kind of fairly solid. This bishop looks a little bit out on a limb right now. I quite like my knights. I think my dark square bishop has prospects. Part of me wouldn't mind swapping off the dark square bishops on here. If this knight moves, then we've got ideas of that. Or I could just centralise a rook and then play bishop. Let's do that. I want to clear away the material around the king, right? Okay. That's a kind of instinctual move. If I drop back and she plays like g4, I do then have like sack the bishop for 2 pawns. That could be alright. I think that's okay. She's playing very quickly though. You know, why put up a 30-minute open challenge and play it as though it's 5-minute blitz? She's used 2 minutes now of her clock. 2 minutes of her 30 minutes. But, you know, a lot of that was the London, and she just followed the normal setup, which is no bad thing for a beginner. I also have bishop to drop back here, adding a 3rd attacker to that pawn. And it's defended only twice. So if this, I could also drop the bishop back to g6, attack this pawn. Oh. No, I'm not sure about that, because now I can drop the bishop back and attack the queen. And then I've got this lovely light square diagonal all to myself. And where's that queen going to go? It's not got many squares. 4 squares, potentially, unless block. We can't block with the knight there because of pawn, so that's not on. Could block the bishop. Which may then, if bishop goes there, I may renew my addresses to this knight. Remember, the queen's the only defender of that pawn as well on b2. Nothing but shattered dreams, shattered dreams. Okay, if queen takes queen, we've got knight takes. That knight's still defended twice. That's not a bad move, I don't think, by my opponent. And also, I've still got a knight under attack. If queen takes my queen, A takes, that's not too bad either. I'm not really concerned about that either. But if they take me, I recapture, my knight's gone, yeah? So I either now have to initiate the exchange, which will force a recapture, yeah? Or I have to move my knight. I quite like that. I mean, that's a good square for a knight. So let's play that. If knight takes, I've got bishop takes, attacking this knight again. If queen takes, recapture with the a pawn. She's playing well though. I might now push c4 at some point, just shut this bishop down. It kind of relieves the tension a little bit in the centre. Or I could capture on there. Lots of options. This is a decent chess game. And nothing has been taken. I wonder if a chess game's ever been won without a single capture. That's an interesting one. I think something's going to be taken now, yes indeed. Okay, now we've got, I mean, is there any advantage to pawn take c4? Bishop take seems kind of obvious, you know. The benefits of this are the bishop is then pointing down towards the king's corner. Yeah, no bad thing. I have a pawn structure here. If I capture with there, it's hitting that knight. That knight can't go there, could go here, but then I can kick it again. Let's think. I take that, hit the knight. Also, if I take queen, pawn takes. Right, pawn takes knight. And I can go there. That's actually quite solid. No, can't go there. This knight has to move, okay? Can't go here because bishop simply takes. That's out of the picture. Okay, so we've got an option here, in which case I can kick, and then where does he go? He can't go back there and can't go back there. So if he comes here, that could actually be trapped. Alternatively, could he go back to here? Or there? I'm kind of strangely drawn to it. Let's take the knight. Just for shits and giggles. That's a technical chess term. This is good play for 1000. Yeah, kudos to Suzuki. So now she's really having to calculate. That's out. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4 options. Yeah, but now I think this, right? And she can't go there, can't go there. Can't go there because of the bishop, can't go there. I think Suzuki is Stucksky, isn't it? I think you're trapped, babe. That's the problem. Yeah, pawn's guarding that. Bishop's guarding that. Pawn's guarding that. Rook's guarding that. Bishop and king are guarding that. And you can't get there and you can't get there. And you obviously can't get there because you're a knight. Yeah. So she thought for a bit, but did she think it through? Wouldn't be surprised to see a queen swap, just by way of lashing out. What can you take? I mean, is there a like desperado? You take there, I take with the pawn. That just improves me, and then I'm attacking your bishop. Take that, same kind of deal. I could double up rooks. Now I think this could prove to be a tipping point for Suzuki. Okay, going back to there. I can simply grab the knight. I don't see any danger. I can get kicked. We might have an exchange of queens again. Might even put my bishop here. Force the issue with the queen. So right now I'm a knight up for a pawn. And which pawn is it? D pawn. Now you see swaps are in my favour, so I think a queen exchange would be no bad thing. It helps me simplify. Okay, now I can grab with the bishop here, and then if queen takes, I've got bishop takes, and it doesn't screw up my pawns, so I'm liking that. And you see, I'm just doing the sanity check. When I do this, when I do this, and I spend, say, 10 seconds thinking about my move, and then I hover with the piece before I do it, and I look again, I win more games. Simple as that. The sanity check thing will help edge your win percentage, hands down, particularly if you're below 1,000. You heard it here first. The sanity check says son of Jag. Currently that pawn's defended twice, but this rook now cannot move. This rook moves anywhere. Boom. Bish, bash, bosh. Now I'm inclined to put my other bishop there. This kind of vanguard, this spearhead of bishops. Cutting down across to where the king is. See, that's what you want. That is the ideal. Yeah, she's got her work cut out now. If queen takes, I'm recapturing with the bishop. Tomorrow, somebody is coming to take 3 cockerels. Keeps promising to come. Oh, hello. What's that about? Hey, what you do? Huh? What you do? So, like a6 now? What is that? What is that? What's the intent? I've got an undefended bishop. I might just drop this guy back here now, just to, you know, ask the question. I mean, I suppose this is blocking the option to swap queens. So she's figuring, I'm down on material. I want to avoid the queen swap, but I'll just move the queen away. See, now the queen's stuck defending this bishop, eh? Now I attack the queen, so queen can't go there, can't go there or there. And if she moves away here, the bishop falls. So the only option now, I think, is, there's 2 options. Got knight there with a fork on queen and bishop, and potentially there with a fork on king and bishop. Me shall like this. Knight here. Queen's in an air situation. Queen's got to move. Right, you take my bishop now, you lose your queen. That's just not on, right? She's not going to do that. My king seems totally unthreatened so far in this game. Okay, so you're going to have to move your queen, and I'm targeting that square, e2, and that wins material, unless the queen defends e2 or defends that bishop. It'll also be nice to line up a 3rd attacker against that, but because of this situation, it's actually 4 jumps to land on there. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, for example. You know, it's basically 2 1 square diagonals. Okay, so she's a mover de. Okay, and you see now with that queen move, she hasn't defended e2. She's not seen the fork and hasn't defended the bishop. Therefore, I can now win material. King's going to have to move. You can't block a knight, check. You can only capture the knight or run away. And I wouldn't be surprised if resigns at this point. But it'd be a shame because she's played well. Okay, I can capture the bishop, but I also then lose my own bishop, don't I? So how about, let's just sack the bishop and grab a pawn on my way out. And it's a key pawn, it's really opening up the king, so that's much better, you see, than simply, you know, if I take the bishop, pawn takes my bishop, right? But here, I've removed a key pawn, and I've also reinstated the threat, put my opponent in check, and plus my knight is looking at these two squares which are in reach of the f2 square again, yeah? So now it's all looking good. These pieces here are no threat whatsoever. They're not lined up with my king. I'm lined up with the back wall. I can't check there because of the bish. Alright. So how about here? With ideas of just grabbing that pawn or grabbing that pawn. I don't see any other frets. Yeah, no frets. Look, this is a three-way, look at that. Pawns everywhere. Pawn utopia. Yeah, well, I've got the b2 pawn. I've got the f2 pawn with a barrage. I've got the e5 pawn. It's also free, yeah. Now, what are you doing? So now the queen is attacking. Queen's attacking my knight. I'm inclined to take this pawn, I think. Let's take that one. It's all starting to go a bit wrong now. This bishop is inert. The pawns are not in a great situation, particularly over here around the king. I've also now got ideas of discoveries. Discovery, my dear. Also got ideas of this, look. Bang, bang. Zip, zip. Okay, let's protect with the bishop. And now if I move the knight out of the way, I might be able to grab myself a rook. Haha! So look, it looks like I'm defending the knight with the bishop, but actually what I'm doing, I am defending the knight with the bishop. Yeah, for sure, yeah. No, mate, yeah. But what I'm really doing is trying to set up a discovered check to win the exchange. It's all tactics, all just tactics. Looking after some friends, little girls this weekend, because they need some time. They need some mum and dad time, so it's nice. You're practicing being grandparents, eh? Now that is what I think we call in the game a cock-up. Sure, this bishop is defended twice. That's well anchored in, yeah? So now if I go there, surely it wins the queen, yeah? So I'm attacking the rook. Queen cannot move unless it's to capture the bishop. Then I capture with check and I'm going to win the rook anyway. So it's all going horribly wrong now for white. Suski, I'm sorry. Okay, so the queen's, this is a desperado move, yeah? That means that when you know you're going to lose material, what's the most compensation that I can get? So recapture comes with check, which means the king's either going to have to move or play f4. But whatever happens, I think I'm going to grab that rook and go on to romp to victory. I'm grabbing the rook. I'm not even going to think twice about that. It's just a no-brainer here. Right. I'm just kick the bishop. Don't kick the bishop. Kick the bishop. queen here attacking the rook and the pawn there and the bishop. Bong, bong, bong. That was rash. Okay, now rook here. Now we're addressing our attentions to f2, and it's all gonna go Pete Tong. And this bishop's actually trapped itself here. Look, it's got nothing. Can't get there. Can't get there. Can't get there. It's only got one square, and which is that. But it can't actually get out. It can't get out of this trap. There we go. Resignation. Okay. Well played. I'll just have to say, good game. Well played. Yeah. Interesting one. I think she did very well in the opening part with the London, and this is something that I see a lot, and this is something that I hear from students as well when they say, okay, I'm playing the London or I'm playing the King's Indian or whatever, and I'm okay as far as I know with the moves, and the London is a very, very solid way to get through the opening, but then you get into the middle game, and that's when the difference, I think, appears between your 1400 and 1000 level players. I know what to do in the middle game. I know that I should be thinking about improving my pieces, thinking about pawn breaks, and my tactical vision is just stronger due to more experience. So there you go. Interesting game in the London, and that's how to beat a 1000 player who's playing the London against you. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.